This reaction is brought to you by my $5 or more patrons at patreon.com/AlexHeitz. I would like to thank Andreas Glaisel, Big Chicken Time, Andrew Graff, at HawkRollVideos69 on Twitter, BJapper, Brady Michael, Downcast Lashes, Jason Bates, Mark Ventura, Matthew McLaughlin, Richard, Support Basic Science Research, Will E, Will T127, and Sam Gavshak for sponsoring this video, supporting me, my family, the channel. I appreciate it immensely, and I hope you all enjoy this video. Here we are, kind of at the end of a journey. It's a bittersweet end, of course, but I am very excited to be doing the album that we are doing today. This has been a fantastic binge. So many great songs, all of them fantastic albums. They've really been resonating with me to the point where I'm like, dude, Elliott Smith is like one of the best singer-songwriters I've ever come across. Like, honestly, puts like Nick Drake and Paul Simon, puts them up for their money, gives them the runaround. What's the phrase I'm looking for? I don't know. But yeah, this has been a fantastic binge, and I'm very excited to be doing the album we're doing today. I have still not done any follow-ups since the self-titled, so I've not done a follow-up for EXO or Figure 8, but I will say just briefly, Figure 8, almost my favorite Elliott Smith album. I adore most of the tracks, except like LA and Wouldn't Mama Be Proud and Pretty Mary Kay are usually the ones that I don't listen to all that much. But pretty much everything else on the album I think is just like stellar, incredible work. And it's kind of like two camps of Elliott Smith fans, right? They're the ones who think that like everything after Either Or is just like overproduced, or like the big band sound doesn't, or the more full band sound doesn't work with him. And then there are the people who are like, dude, like what he's able to achieve with like a full band and some chamber stuff is like next level genius, which it is. And I understand if people don't prefer that and they would rather have the more like simple lo-fi, self-titled and Either Or. I understand that, but like the amount that not EXO as much, but maybe Figure 8 just kind of gets like kind of looked over is insane to me, because EXO and Figure 8 I prefer over Either Or. I know it's a very controversial statement, but it's the truth. So very excited to be diving into this one here today. For those who don't know, I do unedited reactions at my Patreon, patreon.com/AlexHeitz. For $5 a month, you can get access to unedited reactions from Modest Mouse going forward. That's April of 2021. As of right now, that's almost 70 unedited album reactions you can get access to. The $5 a month goes to hosting the Vimeo account where I upload these unedited reactions to, because if I put them on YouTube, they would just get blocked worldwide most of the time, which is really, annoying and unfortunate. So I have to edit them here on YouTube, but you can access those for $5 a month, the whole catalog. Watch as much as you like. If not, you can jump in at $1 a month, and that gets you access to voting in polls that we do every 2 to 4 albums. Breaks up the monotony of an artist binge, going through a discography, and we just kind of interject one of 4 miscellaneous albums from that poll. So if you want to support the channel and have access to those features, you can go to patreon.com/AlexHeitz. Also got a shout out, NordVPN, link in the description for that. Got an affiliate link down there. Great VPN with fantastic speeds and prices. I've been using them for years. They reached out, wanted to know if I wanted to be an affiliate, and I'm like, hell yeah. So check out NordVPN, link in the description. Encrypt your data and such. That's it. From a Basement on the Hill. Posthumous album, technically. So this one, I don't know to the extent of which it was unfinished. I know it was an attempt to, he wanted it to be a double album, and it's technically only 15 tracks at just under an hour. But I know, like, in some of his last live shows, he was playing almost like the entirety of this set list. I know tracks like King's Crossing and Distorted Reality are notable. I've seen those show up on a lot of his live shows. I have not heard them yet. I haven't heard any of these tracks yet. And it seems like it's just like this is a continued effort to like expand his sound. There's apparently more like instrumental passages, which obviously like Figure Eight had "Bye" at the end. So I don't know if he's still incorporating a lot of piano. It also looks like there's maybe more like rock. He's getting back into the heavier rock stuff, which I'm not super into, but we'll see how that all pans out. I'm wondering if this is going to sound like, I mean, because he was, working on this music and like recording it, producing it, all that before he died. Like it's going to sound cohesive to a point, but I'm curious as to like how cohesive it's going to sound. So I have just about an hour of music here, so I'm going to shut up and we're just going to listen. Very excited to start in on this. So let's go with the first track, Coast to Coast. Cool. Very noisy, heavy, but like that, like when I say like I don't necessarily love his like heavier stuff, I'm talking about like Southern Belle, just like the over like rockier kind of sounding angry tracks. But this like I always find it really compelling when a rockier or noisier track that like starts with, that very kind of like, I don't know, I guess this had like kind of like a stoner rock riff kind of thing going on, and then there like changes into something a little bit more of like a pop progression. Like pop chords kind of start to show up and, like alleviate some of that tension. And I always find that compelling in like any kind of rock, heavier, noisy music. Like it's why I love Candy Claws so much, because it's pop music done with like these super heavy, juicy, rough, rusty riffs, and it's just fantastic. So, off to a great start. Let's keep going. Let's get lost.
And outside, invited in, but I couldn't abide. Had true love, I made it die. I pushed her away, some beautiful place to get lost. Ooh, ooh.
Solid little track, as per usual. Anything under 3 minutes, I'm always like, that's going to be a good one. Wasn't super into like the production on the guitars. Um, just like a minor nitpick. I feel like it was just kind of a little muddy, but just great songwriting as always. Really good stuff. Not a lot to say though. Just nice little ditty, kind of like somebody that I used to know. It's there. It's solid. It's what he does best. Pretty Ugly Before. Pretty sure this is like a single after the fact. Is it? Hold on. Pretty Ugly Before. Yeah, it looks like it's a single. Okay, let's go.
It's only a passing phase. Ugly before, I didn't know what to do. Sometimes it's all I feel up to now. Action that you require to.
It was good. Kind of how I felt about like Junk Bond Trader, where it's just like just a very solid indie rock track. Like the chords are basic, simple riff over it. But it's like it's still not bad. But it's like, does it match with like does Junk Bond Trader match with some of the other great tracks on Figure Eight? I would say no, even though it's still good. That's kind of how I felt about this one. It's there. It was solid. Don't Go Down.
Snowball in hell. She was hard. Her mama called, go down. Stay with me, baby, stay. Own body, outline in chalk. Don't go down, stay with me.
Interesting, like, I mean, like, again, another heavier one. It almost had like a shoegaze vibe to it as well, with some of the like wall of sound, distorted guitar. Least favorite so far. Some of the riffs were fun, but like overall, just didn't really have much of that spice, I suppose. I prefer Coast to Coast was the other one that was kind of heavier, but yeah, definitely a superior track, I feel. Strung Out Again.
Get what you see on an evil emperor. Where is you better than the rest? Just my praise. You get what you see. But something hates, I know how I began.
If this is like what the rest of the album is going to be like, I can definitely tell that it's not going to be among my favorites. Um, it definitely feels like he's like reaching for new sounds. And while it is interesting, like that Elliott spice is just like not quite as present here. I don't know. Maybe it will just change, and all the other. These are just like the only two I don't enjoy a whole lot. But Don't Go Down and Strung Out Again, we're just kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to say bland because that's not the right word. I don't know. Maybe he's just reaching a little too far for my taste and it's not quite landing, I guess. I don't know. But it is cool to hear him like try these heavier tones. And it worked well on Coast to Coast, so I'm not against it, but a fond farewell.
It's now black and white, 'cause you took apart a picture that wasn't right. The maker that you wanna meet, a dying man in a living room. It's just a fond farewell to a friend. He said, really, I just wanna dance. It's not what I'm like, it's just a fond farewell to a friend. I see you're leaving me and taking up with the enemy.
He made us wait like an extra measure for that final chord, teasing us. I like that. One of those more like simple tracks that just has a really nice. It's not a wild Elliott Smith chord progression, but just very pleasant. Nice riff. I love when he does like that kind of, what would you call it? Slack guitar, steel guitar, whatever. Everything Reminds Me of Her. Fantastic track. I love when he toys with those kind of country-ish sounding tones, the really melancholy tracks. Like, more of that. Okay, King's Crossing. I've heard this is a notable one. Let's check it out.
Crossing was the main attraction. Dominoes are falling in a chain reaction. Can't prepare for death any more than I already have. Dreaded fireworks inside your head are gonna stand and deliver. Dark instead, my own insides out. It don't matter 'cause I have no sight. Any Santa is bringing something to me. His voice is overwhelming, but his speeches keep the part and return at 5. It's a hell of a roll if you can keep it alive. Instruments shine on a silver tray. Don't let me get carried away.
I understand. I get it. That reminds me of like some very like anthemic like national songs. Like some of his like meter as far as like vocal rhythm reminded me a lot of Matt Berninger's vocal delivery. Also kind of like, like country feedback, REM, like just the very raw emotional kind of like shouting this confessional kind of track. Really strong, really strong. Not what I was anticipating. I thought it was going to be like a more subdued one, but it was big and bold. Good. Ostrich and Chirping. This is 30 seconds. So, reading the Wikipedia, Schnaff, who was the producer of Either Or, EXO, and Figure Eight, was hired to mix and produce this album, along with his Smith's former girlfriend, Joanna. David McConnell, who was, I think, kind of helping produce it with Elliott for, like, just, recording it for over 3 years, basically. He wasn't really consulted during the mixing. And he had like extensive, like 3 years worth of notes that he and Smith had made while recording the album. So, Schnaff said like, he quoted, "I had a paternal protective feeling. I didn't want anybody mucking it up." So he kind of took charge after his death. And he noted that the track Ostrich and Chirping, a short instrumental made from sampling and looping the noises made by a toy bird, had nothing to do with Smith and was something that McConnell had recorded by himself. McConnell said, "Don't ask me how this ended up on the record. I totally forgot I had put that on one of his reels." Um, the fact that it like if this was an accident and it still managed to make it through is incredibly funny to me. That it's like it's an oops. All right. Anyway, Twilight.
Haven't left this heart in alone now before I start crying. Side to say she's a good to me, good to me. I'm all everything, but I'm already somebody's baby. And you'll find it's the only little part. Well, I almost forgot it was Twilight. It's beautiful, but I'm already somebody.
You know, I kind of wish that like I knew what all the instruments were because like on Wikipedia it says Elliott Smith, all instruments not listed below, and then it's just like some people doing drums and keyboards and whatnot. Um, but it's like, what technically was that? Was like a synth, some kind of wind instrument? I don't know, but it was very like sublime, beautiful. Twilight's the perfect name for the song. Good, solid. So my don't go down and strung out again fears have been unfounded because aside from Ostrich, the last three tracks have been like right up my alley. So great stuff. A passing feeling.
Just a shout, and I'm stuck here waiting. Send all the time my request for relief down the I'm stuck. I'm not a dead power line, though I'm beyond belief in the
Fantastic. Um, Kind of had to warm up to that one toward the end, but that nice little guitar riff to end it out, just like he's so good at nailing that very specific melancholy feeling that's like slightly uplifting. It has an optimistic edge to it, which is I don't know the yin yang of like happiness and sadness in his music is one of the most compelling things about him. I feel. Anyway, we're getting kind of close to the end, actually. Surprisingly, it's gone by quicker than I thought it would. The last hour.
Here's the army that you mowed to the ground. It out the last hour. I'll be staying down where no one else. Just make it over. End of the day. Don't keep me around. Up for this one way down. I wasn't good at being.
Pretty nice. Not anything as amazing as like I better be quiet now. But as far as it's so loud. Do you hear that? But like as far as like the simple acoustic guitar, Elliott Smith stuff in his later albums, which is honestly kind of rare, sadly. Um, Pretty solid. Pretty solid. I did enjoy it. I thought it was nice. It doesn't really stand out amongst like the pantheon of his great stuff though. Shooting Star, this is 6 minutes long.
Always do. Going upstream, so far. You'll make him sad. You're distant and cold and a sight to behold. Say the least, it's gonna be hard.
Um, well, I yeah, sometimes it feels like he's reaching a little too far and kind of falls off the cliff a little bit. It's a lot of really cool elements in there, a lot of moments that I liked, some cool phrasing. Um, but as far as like just a rock song goes, I don't know. It's a little too much, a little too strong of a taste, I guess. I don't know. Maybe some people really like that one, but it was a lot. It was a lot. At least it didn't feel overly long. Like I was kind of in the phrasing, I wasn't just like, oh, it needs to end. But yeah, that's that's quite a lot to swallow all at once, if you know what I mean. Memory Lane.
From a basement on the hill. And all anybody knows is you're not like isolation pulled you past the tunnel to a bright world where you can make a place and staying away. Your little house on memory lakes, down the only road it ever take. But every bar, and I take what's given me most cooperatively. I do what people say. Your little house on memory lane.
You know what I'm kind of like hearing and seeing here is like I could see like I mean arguably he would be trying to make something like the Beatles White Album, right? With like this double album feel of just like sprawling varieties of songs. And arguably that's kind of what he did on Figure Eight. Figure Eight definitely feels like this Beatles-esque album structure. But here it's like there's not enough to warrant some of the track listing order, I guess. I don't know. The flow of the album, it's not awful, but you can just definitely tell that like it's just not complete. It's not all trying to be there. Not to say that it would be arguably better, because I don't know what else would have been on here, but yeah, there's definitely like a certain amount of like soul of the album missing, because it's just like not, it didn't end up what it was supposed to be as, I guess. So that one was okay. I like the last hour a bit more. We have 2 tracks left, and then I'll talk about this whole thing at the end here. So Little One.
Little one, I'll go down. New music to calm down. Changing your shape, dissolving some dream. 3, 4, 5 seems to belong to me.
Um, it's, the hard pan was a little much for me. Um, Not bad. Like I said, it just feels like he's reaching and not quite able to pull it. Um, I saw a comment that said like listening to this should be illegal, or it feels like listening to this should be illegal, and I kind of feel that way. Um, I don't know. It like I like maybe a third of this album, a third to a half so far, but we have one track left. I'll comment afterward. Let's go. A distorted reality is now a necessity to be free.
Tea on Easter afternoon. You disappoint me. You people raking it. Shine on me, baby. 'Cause it's raining. Sun's rising over chopping glass. It all down to luck. God knows. I'll be baby, 'cause it's
Okay. That is it. So that one I have mixed feelings on. It felt a little aimless and kind of washy. Also, it felt super Beatles-esque. You had like kind of noticing now some of the more like bluesy elements on this album, which are very mild. Um, Kind of reek a little bit of late Beatles when they were toying with blues sounds. Um, and you had the vocal effect on his voice in the last part of this song, very Beatles-esque. Um, it was okay. It was okay. Elements of it I liked, elements of it I didn't like. I like it more than Shooting Star for sure, though. So, from a Basement on the Hill, I guess judging by sheer amount of stuff I like here, I guess I like it more than Roman Candle. I like Either or more. So this is probably my second least favorite, second to bottom. And honestly, not bad. It's not bad. Like saying that seems extreme. Coast to Coast, I enjoyed. I think I like Let's Get Lost. That was a while ago. Fond Farewell was good. King's Crossing, good. Twilight, very nice. Passing Feeling, good. Last Hour, solid. So yeah, I would say like the middle of the album I seem to like the most. But there's about 2/3 to a half to 2/3 here that I'm just kind of like, I don't know. You were reaching a little too far, and I don't think you quite grabbed it successfully, in my opinion, or for my liking or taste. I don't know. It seems like people have very differing opinions on this album. Some think it's really great. Some think the album flow is perfect and like really solid, and some are like it's obviously not complete. It's a little janky. I lean more in that direction in some ways, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too harsh because I have the context of his death and the fact that it's not exactly the album he wanted to make. Even though I guess these songs were finished, I don't know. Maybe he would have changed his opinion as he finished making the album and remixed some. You never know. You never know. So it's hard to judge this like as an Elliott Smith album because it's not fully an Elliott Smith album, and I have to be even more forgiving when I do New Moon next, which will be 73 minutes long, and we'll have just a lot of those little bits and pieces. I guess I don't know. Is New Moon technically kind of like a compilation of unreleased stuff, or is it like B-sides? I don't know, but that's what we're gonna do next. I don't know if I should do both discs because it's 2 discs. I don't know. I guess we'll do both discs. Let me know in the comments if you guys have heard New Moon, if the second disc is worth doing. Because like I remember doing It was either the Joy Division or New Order Substance, and the second disc of one of those, I can't remember which band it was. I was like, I didn't need to listen to this. This was not necessary. I don't like it a whole lot. So New Moon is next. But From a Basement on the Hill, fairly solid. As far as like Elliott Smith context aside, pretty good album. Pretty decent, solid thing. That stands on its own 2 feet well enough. And has a good amount of very notable tracks on it too that are definitely worth checking out. So I'm glad I listened to this. But I am definitely eager to finish it up with New Moon coming next. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have for you guys. Things to plug yet again with the Patreon. Patreon.com/AlexHeitz. $5 a month, access to unedited reactions, of which this is one. All the Elliott Smith reactions are on there. Also, $1 a month, you can vote in polls that we do every 2 to 4 albums. Then also go plug the Discord, link in the description for that. Got about 170, 180 members over there, chatting about stuff and things, and that's it. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Decent listening session today. Got some good stuff out of it. I'm glad that I'm finishing up Elliott Smith. Kind of unfortunate that we're going out on like a bittersweet note, is not only like context wise, but somewhat quality wise, right? Because this is, I don't know, in my opinion, not among his best, but we're going to be going into Talk next. The party's over. It's My Life, Color of Spring. And then we're going to do Mark Hollis's self-titled. And I am very excited about all of that because I love Mark Hollis and Talk. Excited to round out that discography. So that's all I have. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, Godspeed.